Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be doing part 6 of our beginner to 2K guide, and today we're going to be going up against Aoe2, who is from Russia, and he is around 1800 rated right now, but he told me he was like a 1900 or 2K and that he's just smurfing. So today's episode, we're going to talk about, at least in the beginning, what your mentality should be if you know you're up against a high level player or if you know you're up against a smurf. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Obviously, I am technically smurfing from a higher level myself, but yeah, I'm just gonna talk a little bit about the mindset you should have if you do know you're playing against someone who is stronger than they seem. Also, we're kind of in like chapter 2, so for the first 5 episodes, it was really just beginner and new player stuff. Now we're gonna move on to some more intermediate stuff, and I'm gonna introduce another build order, the Men at Arm double range build order. If you guys follow my Twitch channel, you know there's like 2 Men at Arm builds I like to do. One with 2 ranges right away to mass up a little bit of archers, maybe even mix in a couple skirmishers. And then there's the one with the 1 range flask blacksmith to get the fletching out. I will do that second, like I'll do the 1 range build a bit later when I get to like 1800. For now, I'm going to stick with these 22 pop Men at Arm into archer with double range transition. So here it is. Feel free to pause the video and check it out. As usual, all builders will be inside my Discord and available for Twitch subs. Without further ado, let's hop right into the video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with this game here. Like have fun. So, hopping right into this, he is 1800 on paper, but he is a little bit higher level. So he told us he's 1900. So right away, I'm going to put myself in the shoes of a 1700. I know I'm playing against a player who is a little bit higher level than me, but I'm not going to let it affect me in terms of how I decide to play. What I will try and keep in mind, though, is I don't want to take too many risks against him. I really want to cover my bases and play like smart, collected, and not give him any free advantages, pretty much. I want to try and go as even as possible until the point in the game where I feel comfortable to try and push out and snag some advantage myself. I end up getting Vikings here, which is a perfect civ to show off the Men at Arm builds. That's actually a really good start for us. It's Vikings versus Byzantines. That's the matchup here. And as usual, I'm going to go around my basic start here. Right, good stuff. Right, I'm gonna be scouting with my sheep. Again, using 3 sheep to scout. If this is too much for you guys to follow, just drop it down and scout with 2 sheep instead. However, this is addressing more of my intermediate players. If you guys can scout with 3 sheep, I recommend you do so in this fashion. Use your scout to scout one side and continue going in circles, and then use your sheep to scout the other sides. Always keeping my town center going. It's important to cut out any idle time in the Dark Age, because if you're at this level 1650 to 1700 and you're not hitting perfect Dark Age times consistently, or at least more than 50% of the time, then you really need to do some practice. Alright, so work on those perfect times. For the Men at Arm builder, we're going to go 4 on wood, and the rest will be pretty straightforward according to the notepad I showed at the start of the video. Okay, so there's 1 more sheep here. This next sheep. And again, usually once I've scouted most of my map here, I'm gonna just go ahead and move out with my scout. So take a look at my scouting. By the way, I'm gonna take my front boar just so I don't get lamed. I got 1 boar on the front, 1 boar on the back. You always want to take your front boar because the one in the back is a bit harder if your opponent will lame you. So just keep that in mind. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make my house on this side in the shape of a wall. I can't stress how important it is to make your houses in the shape of a wall or part of your potential walls, because it just saves you so much time and sets up your base perfectly. Force coming in, as usual, I'm going to scout near wood lines in places where his TC cannot be, because I don't want to lose my scout to a town center. That's just foolish. Alright. Very good. Okay. I actually made a mistake there. That could have been quite dangerous. Let's stay near this wood line. Okay, a little bit of idle time here. Shouldn't be too big an issue. One thing I will recommend, though, you guys saw what I just did? So the wood line kind of tends to go on, like the villas tend to move. And what I basically did was I brought them back to the side they were at. So I kept 2 villas on each side of the lumber camp. Always try and do this little tricks of efficiency. So if we're getting to the higher levels or more intermediate level, your Dark Age should be already pretty clean. So this is the next step for you guys. Make sure your villas are working efficiently, 2 on each side of the lumber camp, 2 on each side of the mill, and you're gonna be pretty golden. Alright, so when I said about my opponent being significantly stronger than my previous opponents, we gotta try and play as sharp as possible. We don't want to make mistakes. We want to make use of all the early game buildings. Oh, and there it is. I actually make a mistake, run into his TC because it didn't hog the hills, so that's my fault. And luckily, no harm, no foul. Only lost half the HP on my scout, no big deal. So as I was saying, I want to get, make use of my houses here in the shape of wall. I'm going to get my barracks in front of my gold. And this is something I could talk about here. So right away in Dark Age, I'm already considering how I want to wall my base with the houses and the barracks. However, I am putting my barracks in front of my main gold. And this is something I really want to talk about here. So not only with this map, but just in general, Arabian maps can have pretty bad generation. Forward golds, forward woodlines, forward berries, they're all susceptible to early game rushes, such as men-at-arms, drush, or even a fast scout rush. So you really want to make sure to protect those mines, and the best way to do that is walls. However, you cannot afford to wall your entire base right away, but you are placing a few buildings. A barracks is actually a big building. It's a 3x3, and it has a lot of hit points, so it's actually hard to take down. So I'm going to use my barracks as kind of a shield to block my main gold. Not only that, but it also creates units like spearmen and men-at-arms. So if ever I need to pump out units to defend my main gold, I want to have my production buildings near that. So that's why I always put my barracks or my stable or even my archery ranges in front of my most important resources, which tends to be either a forward woodline or a forward gold. So just keep that in mind. It's not only a wall, it's also a protective building for my important resources. All right, let's go ahead and continue going here.
Yes.
Alright, so just gonna continue on with the build. This villager should go to the wood. 5 on wood. Gonna number my barracks to control 3, because I will be making some militia out of it as soon as possible. My next build will go to food, and then finally one more to gold. Then I'll click up. At this time, I'm also taking a look at my opponent's map. I see 2 forward golds. Woodline's close to the TC, so I probably can't hit that. Let's find his berries. Oh, I found a really important piece of information. A barracks at the same time as me? That could tell me it's going to be a men-at-arm rush from him. Oh, and I should be loom here. Win a gold. And I'll definitely be clicking up now. After loom. So yeah, it's going to be men-at-arms from him. He's getting a mining camp. Barracks on the front. This gold is where I will hit. I will play super aggressively to try and punish that forward gold. Let's go ahead and try and click up here. There we go. And when going for a men-at-arm build, I like to not transition to the second lumber camp right away. I like to keep them on food for a little bit, get my men-at-arms out as fast as possible. There we go, even dropping off some food. And I will want to get my men-at-arms out as fast as possible. At this point, I know exactly what I want to hit. Gonna bring my scout back to join my men-at-arm rush and move out together. Alright, after a little bit, let's go ahead and take a few bills here. And send them to my wood. Let's take this wood at the back. It's kind of far, but I'll be able to protect it later on. Notice I'm only sending 4, not sending a full 5 right away. Usually I like to send 3 or 4. I'll send the last one later. I really want to gather some food for now, and then move out a bit later on. Alright, so with my militia here, gonna move out. Notice how I'm bringing my scout back to join the militia. And if I was full HP, this would be really good. Since I'm half HP, it's not the best. I'm only gonna go with 3 militia for this one. Right, there it is. Another lumber camp being made. And let's move out right away. Since this is kind of like the intermediate level, I'm going to show you guys how to do the men-at-arm build. I like to see a few farms here, and not the range right away with this build. Right, oh, gotta be careful. Let's keep my rush together. Men-at-arm upgrade kicking in. And I want to get my wood upgrade as fast as possible as well. There we go. So I've got everything. Wheelbarrow is kicking in. I don't know where his men-at-arms is, but I'm taking initiative nonetheless. So I'm taking initiative here. And if I'm keeping an eye on my mini-map. If I see him turn up at my base, I'm going to try and go back home and try and quick wall or defend myself. Alright, so I'm going to keep an eye out. You know what? I don't see him yet. I'm getting paranoid. I'm going to wall up. Wall up my gold. It's really important. And let's do my ranges in a defensive location. I'm doing this because I don't know where his men-at-arm rush is. So I just have to prepare because I know he's going men-at-arms. I just don't know where it is. And notice he's doing the exact same. So this guy knows what he's doing. Alright, men-at-arms to defend, but he still has some men-at-arms. Oh, there they are. Perfect. So that tells me exactly what I need to know. Now I can just chill. I don't need to make the range right away. Alright, this is one more thing I gotta talk about here. So, we're getting into a little bit more of complex topics here. So now I've got men at arms, I've got 3 of them. I've got 5 HP extra on them because I'm Vikings, but he's got 4 men at arms, and 4 men at arms will usually beat the 3 men at arms, even if I have Viking bonus. So I don't want to take a fight, but since I'm attacking, it's still good for me. And these men at arms, all I have to do now is buy time with them and get my archer transition done at home. With these men at arms, I'm not going to take a fight. I'm just going to run around and pretend like I'm attacking him, but I'm actually just going to waste his time because I don't want to deal with his men at arms at all. So right now our rushes will cancel out, but he made 4, so he invested an extra 60 food and 20 gold. So I'm actually winning this trade, even if we're not actually fighting. It's funny how it works, but if you think about it logically, you can see that I actually came out on top here, even if I will not do anything with these men at arms. All right, let's get started here, and it's going to be Operation Run Around and Waste His Time. There it is. And now let's go ahead, since we're safe, and get my range in the front. Again, just run around. If his scout comes in to overextend, I'll fight him. And just get my build done at home. Control 3 on the ranges now. I don't need my barracks anymore. Alright, if he fights, I can pretend I'm fighting, run back. Waste his time, guys. That's the name of the game. Some more farms here. And again, some small micro here. Get a scout, run back, and it's just a whole thing of running around and wasting time. That's all I'm doing, and I'm getting a nice purpose out of it. Now, meanwhile at home, I shouldn't be doing nothing. I should be actually walling up. Let's completely wall this side. I missed the whole space there. There we go. I'm walling the front with my buildings. I'll get a blacksmith here. And I'm going to make a couple of skirmishes here as well, because he probably will do archers. Yeah, I lost my scout. Again, I don't care. Even if I lose all my men at arms for nothing, I'm buying time, which is all I need, because these men at arms will be useless as well once I get archers out. So, I'm fine. This is cool. 7 on gold. We're going to go into full farming mode. I like to farm with my berries before they run out, so that I don't have 4 idle villages. I kind of like deal with them gradually, if that makes sense. And let's get fletching as soon as I can afford it. See an idea? I'm housed now. I'll actually just delete them in an arm because they're actually useless. I don't need them. I just need to buy time with them. So I hope I've captured that idea enough that even if you're gonna waste your army, your early game army, they still did something. And I'd say I came out on top of this trade with men at arms. Ooh, got a scout. Okay, nice. And now that I've got, okay, now that he's done chasing my men at arms, let's go ahead and move out with my archers. Okay, I don't like to get my armor too early. Just get fletching, and let's go ahead and continue walling on this side. Go. Right. So again, I'm playing against a higher level opponent. I want to make use of every little trick possible in the early game, so that when it gets to the late game where he's just doing more actions, maybe he's a faster player, he knows how to do the better army combinations. I want to not be in a position where I'm going even against him in the late game. I want to try to get advantages in the early game, because that's when our skills are, there's less going on in the game, so our skills can be almost the same. He's gonna go for some skirmishes here. I can fight because I've got fletching, so I can actually fight some hit and run micro here. There we go. This is a bit more advanced micro. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm hitting, and then when he tries to shoot, I'm running away, and then when the men at arms come too close, I'm just gonna completely run away. Notice how I'm using in box formation. Very important stuff. I'm not sure why I had my bills up there. Okay, this guy can go out here. Right, and now I just save up for the castle edge. But actually, I've seen something quite interesting. He actually is going full skirmishers. So what I could do is prepare a stable transition and go for 1 stable knight in castle edge to counter his skirmishers. Okay, so that's going to be definitely my plan here. But first, let's go ahead and just focus on clicking up here. Again, I'm fully walled. I've done pretty decent work with my men at arms to stall, and now it's just all about holding this position. Alright, so here is going to be another pause. There's 2 things to consider for me now. I've got my forward gold, and I know I have to protect it because I have like 8 vills, 9 vills almost on there as well. And gold is an important resource. I do have that back gold, if you guys can see on the mini map, inside my walls. But I'm already committed to this main gold, so I'm going to try and protect it as best as I can. However, there is the chance that he might come forward with some towers or some pressure like that. And if he comes too heavy, I might consider doing a defensive tower. Because I want to protect this area. Because it's important to me. I've got 2 ranges there, I've got my blacksmith. I don't want to take out this buildings or deny my main gold, potentially move in on my farms. I will do a defensive tower. It's in my back pocket. I'm not going to do it right away. It's just always there. If the defense will be too hard without it, I'll go ahead and make it. All right. Let's get started here.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to try and pick off these men-at-arms. There we go. And then just clicking up here for his stand and stuff. And we'll back up. We'll ignore the skirms. Notice how he's got +1 armor on these skirmishers. So I cannot fight there, and I cannot even show myself here. So I'm going to hide my army to try and preserve it. Alright, I'll talk about this in a second. Going to continue defending here and stuff. Again, I have that tower in my back pocket. Let's get my stable as well. Oh, I got lucky here. Nice. We'll take that. That's actually completely lucky. Let's get Horse Scholar. I do delay it in the men-at-arm build. That is not a mistake. And now I will seed a couple farms. I can't afford this. I'll just send him to wood. No big deal. I've got to get my gold upgrade. I've got to get my archer upgrade as well. My armor. So the reason I'm hiding this is for this exact reason. He's got skirmers with +1 defense, which I cannot fight with archers. So I'm going to hide this army instead of just leaving it out here and wasting it. So it's all about being efficient with your army. One trick I want to show you guys as well is that when you have a wall that's breaking down, you could use perpendicular gates to the wall and really just keep it safe. And he cannot actually hit this villager efficiently without killing that wall first. And now you can just hit this gate, buy yourself a little bit more time. Again, this is more of an intermediate to advanced trick at keeping your base safe. There you go, a couple gates, and you're fine. Alright, gonna continue massing up my new army here. I've got this army here that I'm just gonna wait. It's better to have an idle army than to have a dead one. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and continue with my economy. Don't want to get housed. I'm gonna go ahead and make more houses. Notice how I'm taking some farmers off. This is because I don't need this much food. I'm already massing a lot. Or I already have a lot. Gonna get my important upgrades on the crossbows first. And then I'm also gonna make a couple knights because I want to be able to deal with his skirmishers. Alright, and now my next step is just to boom. Notice how all my builders end up with me being fully walled and able to do 2 TCs in castle. One on another wood line and one on a secondary gold, which will most likely be here. I might even delete that lumber camp eventually. Alright, so I've got the castle age advantage here. Let's move out and go ahead and try to attack my opponent. So again, let's say this guy is a smurf and he is higher level than me. This is the point where I can actually you could get to this point, guys. I haven't done anything that's too out of ordinary besides just using my brain and playing smart. The mechanical skill difference perhaps didn't really come into play. So basically what I'm getting at is, even if your opponent is better than you on paper, feel free or try your best to outsmart him regardless. Okay? So now I'm pushing out. I've got my tech advantage. Now I can just take fights. Not the most micro-intensive, maybe. Just gonna keep my crossbow safe, and I'm gonna be focusing on the boom. Alright, I'm pushing out now, so as you guys know, I always like to put my gather points forward. Okay, he's at the casters now, so I've gotta watch out. Could even get armor on my knights, because now it's time to spend my resources. Continue patrolling forward. Now I'm reseating all my farms. Hit and run with my archers. I'm going to try and trade for the skirmishers first, because that's the one I'm scared of him upgrading. Notice it's a pretty even trade here. My micro hasn't been amazing. And I'm really just focused on continuing to produce villagers. Hit and run. There we go. And okay, he's got more units. Let's just back off here. I'll continue massing at home. Again, I've got 3 TC, so I'm not really worried about too many things right now. I'm really just gonna be focusing on getting all my production up while, you know, continuing to make units with my production. So again, archers being queued. The odd knight or two. I'm not gonna invest too much into knights because he's made more crossbows now. Okay, and now I'm getting to the point where my resources are starting to pile up. I've got a lot of gold. Let's go ahead and invest it. Since I'm scared of him going for some skirmishers, because he's Byzantine and he gets cheaper skirmishers, I'm going to make a siege workshop and actually prepare myself for him to make skirmishers, and I'll make a defensive mangonel. I do have this army in the middle of nowhere. Let's go ahead and bring that back. And I'll use the random skirmishers to scout the map and gain a high score that might actually scare my opponent. Another way to outsmart a higher level player and make it seem like you've got more than you actually do. Higher score by scouting. Remember that one. Alright, to defend this now, I'm going to just hog my hill, make a defensive mangonel, and just do some basic micro on the hill. Hit and run. Nothing crazy. If he runs in, I will commit to this fight. I'm not going to quick wall. We're not at that level yet. I'm just going to run back and I'm going to chase him down. So again, I could do a market to quick wall, but I'm not going to go for that. I'm going to instead chase him down. I'd rather focus my attention on chasing him down. So he'll get a few bills, but I will continue everything. Gonna send these back to work. They're not at harm anymore. And he got a couple villagers, sure, but he lost a lot of his army for it. Okay? So again, no quick walling. Gonna continue making units, making villagers, despite me getting raided. And after a raid, good tip actually. So I've just got raided. You guys saw that my economy is kind of in a mess, you know, like a lot of things happen. After you get raided, the best thing to do is to check your Aoe2 hotkey, like queue all your units first, then check your Aoe2 hotkey, and send all your vills back to work. All right, that's the best thing you can do after you get raided at any stage in the game. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Make sure I have 0 idols.
Yes.
Gonna check. Oh, I got 1 idol here. He had nothing to do with the raid, but it's nice that I spotted him. All right, gonna continue booming here. There we go. And now my wood's getting kind of high. Let's go ahead and spend that. So let's go ahead and make a bunch of farms. There we go. Because I will need the food later. Go up to M. I have still more wood, and I need a university. So let's go ahead and get a university. At this point, I can also start mining some stone and get on a little bit more gold as well. Alright, you can spend your upgrades on anything. Farm upgrade is pretty good. Maybe the stone upgrade. Oh, gold upgrade. I forgot about that one. I'll get that one right now. All about spending my resources for the time being. New lumber camp works. Watch how my resources will diminish very quickly now. And it's exactly what I want. I want to invest them into other things. There we go. That's perfect. And then now I'll save up for Imperial Age. Actually, we've got a pretty decent economy. A couple mangonels to defend. And now that I've killed this army, I can actually move out and try and look for some damage myself. So I've got pretty much the superior army here. Let's get ballistics. Notice how my economy now getting ready to go up to Imperial Age in a second. I've got my buildings. So now I can actually start thinking of Imperial Age. Let's hit and run this. No splits yet. Maybe I'll include a couple splits. But I'll try and play it without the splits for the time being. Although I think at this elo you should be able to split. Alright, let's not overhype this fight. Again, it's really just about playing safe and smart. In this guide, you're gonna see safe and smart play is the most consistent way to go. So let's just stay on this hill, okay? I'll try and trade mangonel for mangonel. And if not, I'm happy just defending. I'm happy just chilling. I'm being safe at home. I know I got to Castle Age faster, but I probably have a better economy. I also have Vikings, which naturally has a better economy. That's really good. Notice how I'm not making any crossbows. I'm trying to go up to Imperial Age, even making a market to sell off my resources. And now I will do an interesting thing. I will actually tech switch into skirmishers. Alright, I will actually tech switch into skirmishers. Get my thumb ring as well. Just in case he goes full skirmisher, I want to be able to defend. So now I know I'm probably up to M faster than him because my Civ has the better economy. Vikings get free Rugar and handcart, which is definitely better than Byzantines. So I'm probably up to M faster. I probably have the bigger economy. Let's go for a lot of skirmishers here. 7 range of skirmishers. Again, when I go up to Imperial Age, I'm not afraid to really pile up the production buildings. I'm going to make 1 more mangonel just to keep myself safe. Because the only way I can lose this game is if I take a bad fight around this moment. If I get the Imperial Age faster than him, I think I'll be fine. Okay, and at this point I can also start thinking of expanding my base. So one thing I will talk about at this level, when you click up the Imperial Age, I want to see 2 things from you guys. I want to see you guys get a TC away from your main base, so out here for me, on a wood, an extra gold, anything at all, extra stone, just to get some space. It helps so much, and I'll explain a little bit more after the game. You know what? Let's do it now. So the reason I say let's get a 4th TC outside of your walls is it has a couple purposes. So the 4th TC helps you actually do a bigger boom, and it could really help with the, getting to the more expensive Imperial upgrades. Like for example with Vikings, Elite Berserker, Berserker Gang, the unique tech are very expensive upgrades, and you need a big economy. So 4th TC will be helpful. But you might be thinking like, yo, Hera, why do you have to make it far from your base? Isn't that vulnerable? Well, it's just one step to getting map control in Imperial Age. Also, if I get raided in my main base, I know I have one TC outside that it will remain untouched. And vice versa, if I get raided on my outside, I still have my main base. So regardless of what happens, I always have a safe place to gather some resources. And trust me, that helps a ton, especially when dealing with those annoying light cap or Hussar raids in the Imperial Age, spreading out that economy. All right. At this point, I could also be gathering some relics,
Yes.
making use of, any sort of advantage on the map. I haven't. I spent my resources on other things. Okay, so now my scrim transition is underway. Let's go ahead and get my elite scrim upgrade. And again, this is just to protect myself against if he goes scrims. But my main unit will still be Arbalest. I'll go Arbalest as my main unit, my gold unit, Scrim as my trash unit. And notice I will do something else, outposts on the sides as well. So that's one thing, two things I want to see is you guys getting a 4 TC on the side and then outpost on the side with Town Watch, very important. Okay, good stuff. So these outposts will work wonders once Town Watch comes into the equation. Alright, just quickly fixing up my economy here. Notice I'm just spreading out villagers. I'm just looking around. If ever I see there's too much of a clump, maybe here, I put, something else. Maybe a lumber camp here. And actually, I noticed he's up in faster. But look at the score. I'm probably way further ahead in Imperial in economy. I think he just went up with the faster Byzantine Imperial Age. Alright? Or the cheaper Imperial Age for Byzantines. Let's get all my upgrades here. Arbalest, Chemistry, Bracer. And let's try and get some shots here if he's overstepping. If not, I would just defend with my skirmishers here. And I'll continue production. Okay, good stuff. Let's get making use of all my mines. Let's not take a big shot here. Very good. Okay, good stuff. And now we can move out. So now we've dealt with the threat of the Mangonel. Let's move out. And I'm eventually going to try and switch into Berserkers, but I need a big boom for that. So I'm going to just continue booming with my 4 TCs, getting a bunch of farms. And eventually I want to go for Siege Ram, Berserk, stuff like that. Expensive techs. So again, first investing into the range units. Oh, found a gold. How can I use that? Okay, well, I actually have to consider a few things. So I have enough for a castle now. And I'm looking at this massive hill in the center. I know I can win if I get a castle there. So that's going to be my game plan for Imperial Age. Again, I am spreading out. I could get the relics here. In fact, let's do so. But my game plan is really going to be to push down the middle here. Taking a weird fight here. Let's get the skirms in the front. There we go. So let's commit to that. I've currently winning this fight. So let's go ahead and push. More production. Notice how I'm bringing the production here. Mix of Arbalest and skirms. Getting the map control with the relics. Or sorry, with the outposts. It's such an underrated thing. Look at my visibility now. Get this relic here with the monastery. My castle in the center, that's my main play. So the side expansions is kind of just like a side thing. It helps, and look at this, it's getting messy. Lumber camp here, arbitrary. Ooh, got a lot of idols. Let's buy some wood, fix all those guys up. I'm about to fight, the big fight. Let's see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna queue a bunch of villagers, queue my ranges, and then now I'm gonna look at my army for the next minutes because I have a lot of things to do. So now is when I micro. You guys ask like, how do you get away with this much micro? But when I try micro, everything else goes to shit. So this is how to prevent it. Now I can micro all I want. I can do fancy splits left and right because I have everything queued up beforehand. All right. And even when I'm fighting, I don't need to watch this. I can go ahead and continue doing this kind of thing. GG. He's calling it. Want to replay? I'll tell him after the game that no. But no replay. Just one game for me. GG. Alright, cool. So thanks for playing, AK. So again, just to quickly recap, this was supposed to be a smurf. Obviously, I'm clearly smurfing from higher. So it's not like the best example of it. But basically, the bottom line is try and make use of the early game because it's where you don't need as much mechanical skill. And you don't need as much, you don't need to do as many actions at once. In the later stage of the game, it's all about who can do more actions. And there's a lot of ideas that are hard to grasp. So I would say take advantage of the builders. I'll try to outsmart him by maybe scouting the map and just try to be calm and play your game regardless of what elo or what rating he is. Because again, rating is just a number. At the end of the day, whoever wins this game depends on who plays better in this particular game. So keep that in mind. As far as what happened in the actual game here, let's do a quick recap. So I went with 3 men-at-arms. I made my barracks in front of my gold to quickly protect it. My men-at-arms went out across the map. I brought my scout back to kind of push with them. I noticed he was going men-at-arms because of my good scouting. And then I noticed that his men-at-arms were missing. So I quickly did some walls around my gold. I kept myself safe at home, and I kept an eye on the mini-map to see if he would show up. He eventually showed up at his base, and that's when I knew I had won the early game. Because he made 4 men-at-arms and I made only 3, and all I did was waste his time. And remember, when the men-at-arms, I lost that fight lost the fight. I got nothing out of my men-at-arms except I bought some time with them. And then he showed up with his 4 men-at-arms at my base, and they did absolutely nothing. I cleaned them up with my archers. So the time I bought, and since I spent less resources on the 3 men-at-arms, I actually won Feudal Age because of just that. So again, if you're just a little bit smart with the decisions, you keep a good economy at home, a good build order, you can easily win Feudal Age versus 1800 or 1900 players. You don't have to take crazy fights, crazy micro. It's all about just smart play and thinking of the game. You do need to know your build order, and you need to know how to multitask, but that comes with practice for sure. Alright, as far as the mid game, I opened with crossbows. I noticed that he was going to be going with some skirmishers, or that he potentially could have some skirmishers. So I mixed in a stable and then a siege workshop just to be able to cover all my bases, because I don't want to get surprised by pure skirmishers and then end up having crossbow versus skirmishers and being at a disadvantage. So I covered my bases with the stable and the siege workshop. I also got a university in ballistics. After my 3 TCs, I like to prioritize my 3 TCs first. And then I got a big boom, expanded with the 4th TC in Imp. Again, super important to make it far from your base on either a secondary, like an extra gold, or just on any woodline you can find is fine. And I did outposts on the side, and I got extremely good vision of the map. I started to pick up relics with monasteries, or at least I was going to. And notice how I expanded the sides. I made use of the map, but I also had a game plan down the center. And that's how I was able to completely dominate that late game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. It's a little bit, kind of higher level of a game than you're used to in the series, but that's kind of what we're moving towards. So I'm kind of happy we got a pretty high level game here. So stay tuned for next episode, where we're going to be playing more 1700 and 1800 players, and I'll start moving on to some of these more intermediate tips and tricks. So thanks for watching, and drop a like or comment on the video if you did enjoy. All these likes and comments help get more of this video recommended into other people's YouTube, so everything helps, and it only takes 1 minute from you guys. So I definitely appreciate it if you would go ahead and do that, like the video or comment. Also, I do answer a lot of the questions in the comments, so if you guys have any questions, just let me know, and that's a really good way to get me to answer them. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.